Some folks dedicate their entire careers to learning more and more about how to support trauma survivors. And they might dedicate themselves to lots of research and reading and writing and teaching on these matters. I suspect that if you're taking a Trauma 101 course, what you're looking for is maybe a quick overview of a couple of little things that you might want to know about supporting trauma survivors. So that's really the lens through which I'm looking. Is just what are some things that you could keep in mind if you would like to be supportive or helpful to someone who maybe is experiencing some of those symptoms of trauma that we've been learning about: hyperarousal, intrusion, restriction. So here's some ideas. First and foremost, if this is the only one you remember, I think that I'll be fine with that. First and foremost is safety. Safety. Now, that isn't easily something that we can just give a person, right? You can't just wrap up safety and hand them that like a gift. But I would ask you to keep in mind that there may be some little things that we do here and there that we don't realize feel very threatening to people. They actually reduce their sense of safety and cause fear. So we want to be careful about avoiding those things. Let's be careful that we're not threatening anybody or sharing a bunch of scare tactics with them that, like, if you don't do this thing, a really terrible thing's going to happen. Folks, all that is doing is taking a person who already feels quite unsafe in this world and amplifies their lack of safety and their feelings of threat sensitivity in the world. So anything we can do to help a person feel safe, anything we can do to calm their nervous system, that might mean just helping them sit quietly. And it might help to take some deep breaths yourself so that maybe the other person can sort of co-regulate with you and match your nervous system and your sense of calm and peace. It might mean helping them with a little bit of grounding, feet on the floor, keeping your back against the chair. Again, taking deep breaths, going slowly, taking our time. Sometimes, though, promoting safety is really about avoiding things that feel threatening or dangerous or risky. And maybe just be mindful when you're working with people that pretty much any time we're asking them to try something new, their threat systems go up. Anytime you're asking a person to make a choice or to take a chance and face the unknown, that their little antenna go up for danger. And so it's something that we can be really sensitive to. And again, we can name it for them. We can say, this might feel like unknown territory. Let's see if we can walk it together. Perhaps I can, help you understand what's ahead as much as possible. Reduce some mystery. Make sure everything's as crystal clear as it possibly can be to reduce some of that sense of maybe a threat to safety. I think another major category of ways that we can be helpful is around autonomy and choice. Sometimes when we think we are being helpful, we start showing up with lots of resources and suggestions and ideas, and we want to throw a lot of things at this person to see if we can be helpful. And so we're saying, here, call this number, join this group, read this pamphlet, follow these 3 steps. And what we find is that when people receive advice or solutions that they did not ask for, they often tell us that it feels like a violation of their boundaries. People use words like invasive and violating and intrusive when we ask them, well, what was it like when you received that help or that support? So we need to be really careful about respecting boundaries and asking a person first before we share something or give them something or make a suggestion or whatever the case may be. And what might be even better than making any suggestions at all is helping this person come to their own conclusions, come to their own solutions, achieve those places at their own pace, and following their own path. That's how we truly support autonomy and choice. And sometimes in our work, that might mean inserting choices that maybe weren't there before, and they can be really teeny tiny little things. Like, thanks for coming into this meeting today. Would you like to sit in the chair or would you like to sit on the couch? Do you like to be near the door or would you prefer to be near the window? Would you like some coffee, tea, water, or nothing at all? But again, offering choices, even if you're just kind of making them up sometimes, it's a signal to this person that you have some voice here. It's a signal that I'm making efforts to insert choice wherever possible. And I think the last thing that I want to say goes back to this idea of being careful about offering lots of advice. I know I already said that it can feel invasive or intrusive or violating for people. It can also feel quite shaming and judgmental. Think about it. Imagine a scenario where you're facing a tough time, and whatever you're doing to get through this tough time, it's the best thing you can think of, right? Whatever actions you're taking, it's your best attempt to make things better. And then somebody comes along and says, well, why don't you do this instead? Doesn't it feel immediately a little bit like you've been judged or even criticized? Or that the implication is that you're doing it wrong. Here, let me show you a different way to do it because you're doing it wrong. You're surviving wrong. You're living wrong. You're choosing wrong. And that can leave a person feeling quite disempowered, shameful, and judged. So let's be careful about jumping in with solutions and advice. I know we mean well, we mean to be helpful. And unfortunately, it ends up leaving people feeling quite criticized and down and small, which is the opposite of what we're aiming for.